Mountaineers Backpackers. This is Cheryl Talbert. I'm here to give you a bit of an introduction to dehydrating your favorite home comfort food meals to bring with you on the trail as a substitute for freeze-dried dinners. So let me start with talking to you about one of the basic brands of dehydrators that you can get. This is a Nesco American Harvest Snackmaster dehydrator, and you can see that this particular brand has temperature controls here that are labeled all the way from meat down to herbs, and this model has individual trays that are stackable, so it's an expandable system, and there are different kinds of tray liners. Here's a mesh liner that you can put things on for better airflow, things that aren't runny, and then here's a hard plastic tray that has a little bit scalloped rims. You can put sauces and soup bases on here that are a little bit more runny. So the idea is that I'm going to give you just an example from a homemade spaghetti sauce, which is a really great place to start because tomato sauce based dishes tend to get caramelized and even sweeter and richer when they're exposed to heat in the dehydrator. So I've started out with a homemade spaghetti sauce here, and I'm just going to put it onto the dehydrator tray. I'm going to choose the plastic tray because this is a little bit of a runny sauce, and I have basically just cooked up a vegetable and meat-based marinara sauce, and I chopped up some of the chunkier bits. So I'm just going to spread this out on the tray, and then I will show you a little bit more closely what this looks like. So I typically eat about 1.5 cups of food for a meal on the trail. So I've measured out about 1.5 cups, which I'm then spreading out as thinly as I can on the dehydrator tray. And so here's what it looks like. It might be a little bit runny, but here's what it looks like. It's spread out on the tray. And there are a few chunks here, so I'm going to take my chopping knife and just break up some of these chunks that are on the tray. What you really want is chunks that are no larger than about 1/4 inch, and that way then your food will dehydrate more quickly and evenly, and it will also rehydrate on the trail more quickly. So I've taken care of that. And then I'm going to put it into the dehydrator. I typically layer an empty tray on the bottom, at least one empty tray. I'll put 2 trays here. Then I'll put my full tray, and then I put another tray on top of that, and then my dehydrator lid, and it plugs in, and then I'll just move it over here. It's not very loud. I don't know if you can hear that, but basically I have this set at the meat temperature, which is 160 degrees F. It's a very quiet process, and I will generally cook a recipe like this over for dinner, and then I'll take the leftovers and chop it, put it in the dehydrator overnight, and generally by morning it will be ready to package up. So I actually have some of the same recipe that I put in the dehydrator last night, and so you can see that it's all dried now, and I had to use a knife to kind of free it up, but it's come out kind of like a spaghetti leather. So after it completes the drying, and you can tell that it's done by kind of squeezing the little pieces here. There are some meat pieces here and a few vegetable pieces here, and you kind of squeeze those and make sure that they're dry and free of moisture, and then you can just crumble it up. So what this will look like after it's all crumbled up is, here's a previous recipe that I made. It's a little bit older. This is a few weeks old, so it's gotten a little bit darker red, but then I will package up the finished recipe into a Ziploc freezer bag, and this is what I will carry it on the trail in. So I will break it up, put it into the Ziploc freezer bag, and then I'll generally put a paper label into it. With the freezer bags, you actually can just cover the food with water in the freezer bag, and there's no bad chemicals that will leach out of these freezer bags. They'll handle boiling water, and then you wrap this in tin foil or some kind of cloth cozy, and in about 10 minutes this will be ready to eat. Now I typically also cook and dehydrate something like angel hair pasta. That's what this is here. And then I will probably just put it in the same bag with the spaghetti and rehydrate it together. So I wanted to show you a few more examples of recipes that I've made, just to give you an idea of the breadth of this. Essentially any sort of sauce or stew or casserole that you can chop small is going to be perfect for the dehydrator. So this happens to be a red pepper and goat cheese pasta sauce. This is a red curry lentils. Lentils make a great dehydrator meal. And this is a chicken Thai lemongrass soup. So I made the soup base with a cream base and dried mushrooms and chicken, and you can actually make the soup base without quite so much of the liquid and dehydrate the base, and then you just add water to it in the trail and you have a great thick luxurious soup. So I hope this has been useful to you. That's please do experiment with your own favorite home comfort food dishes, and I hope you'll enjoy them on the trail.